Hi, my name is Wendy Chadwick, and I'm going to give you an example of how to introduce irregular words to your class. This can be done obviously in person, remotely. You'll just want to make sure that each student is sent home with index cards, blank index cards. I have my students have them on one of these little bindery clip things, so they all stay together. And then they can use either crayons or markers. And if you're working with high school students, they make some little cute ones that the ring's already there and they can just flip it over. But handwriting it, even in high school, instead of just using a Quizlet, is really important to get that encoding aspect into their brain. Okay. All right, today we're going to learn 3 new irregular words. The first word is an old English word. And I want you to watch. All right, knowing what you know. You probably already know how it's really pronounced, but knowing what you know about English, let's try to figure out how this is supposed to be said if we were just saying it the way we spell it. What is the sound that this one makes most of the time? Ah, ah, like octopus. Good, ah. What about the second letter? Nice. You've got ah, ah. Have you heard that word before? Yes, there's a word off, and it's like, get off the table. You're not supposed to stand on the table. Nice. But that one is spelled a little bit differently. This word is pronounced a totally different way. It's pronounced like this. What sound does that make? Remember when we put the little caret above, it makes a special sound. Nice, the thinking sound, yes. V, of. So that's how we pronounce this word. Let's go back. But this is how it's spelled. So what is different than what we would expect with what you know about English? Nice, the whole thing. So we have to circle the whole thing. Again, this is an old English word, and it derived from the Norse and the Dutch. And how you would originally pronounce the O was kind of like an ah sound. And the F was written like this, but it could be pronounced with its V or its F sound. Remember that our teeth are touching our bottom lip very quietly for the F sound. But if we put some voice to it, it's its second sound, right? So originally when this was spelled, it was ah, av. And over time it changed. Just like over time, we all grow and change. So it's spelled this way. So when we're using our cards, let's get our cards out. Remember, this first side is how it's actually spelled. But now we get to circle the things that are different, which is the whole thing. Oh my goodness. On the back, we would write how it's pronounced. And again, there are different ways to write this, but I write it with the caret so we know it's a thinking sound. V, of. Let's say it together. Of. Look at your card. Of. Very nice. Our next word for today is another Old English. Yes, it's another Old English word. That's the theme of today, Old English. All right, watch how I write it. Okay, now, what sound does this make? W, w. Nice. What about this? Ah, a, apple, ah. Nice. Ah. What about this one? Let's put it together. W. Ass. Was. 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 That is not how this is pronounced, unfortunately. It's another think to spell word. I'm going to show you. We start the same way with our w. But this is another one of those schwa thinking sounds. W. But I'm going to write it with my letter A, so I remember that I'm still using my caret, my thinking sound, And then at the very end, the sound that you're going to hear is z. Was. All right, now I'm going to write it the way we spell it again. What is different in this word from what you would expect? Nice, the w is the same, and the whole ending is different. Was. All right, here I have my card, was. It's circled here because that's the part that's irregular. It's very important to remember that this is one of those predictable spelling patterns. If you have a word and its ending base ends with an S, then you voice that S into a Z sound. Z, was. If you had a word like plate and you put an S at the end, plates, that helps us hear as well as see the spelling that it is a plural word. So that's one way we can tell that this S is not plural because it's voiced. Was. All right, now we're going to go back and forth on the card to look at the spelling and how we pronounce it. Was. That'll stick it in your brain. Our last one again is an old English word. Oops, wrong color. All right, let's decode this. Let's figure out its secrets. All right. What does this normally sound like? Nice. What about this one? Ah. Ooh, I heard somebody say, but the silent final E, the normal job of silent final E is to make that A say its own name, right? A, what does this sound like? V, have, and we know that's silent, right? Have. But that is not how it's pronounced. Watch this. What about now? Have. But that is not how it's spelled. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's go back to this. Help me out. Which one should I circle blue? Because it's different. It's not making it what you would expect. Aha! You're right. This silent final E is doing something very weird. Because if we took this off, if we totally took it off, it would say have. That's exactly how we pronounce it. Good. So this is doing something else. This goes back to those silent final E jobs that we've discussed. The most important silent final E is taking a word like can. It's the first job and is jumping over that consonant to make the A say its own name. So the word is cane. But in this situation, it's doing a different job. It's doing its third most important job. And that third most important job deals with U and V. English words generally do not end in U or V. If there's a word that ends in a U or V, it has a different language of origin. But this is Old English. And so since words don't end in U or V, we have to put something at the end to make it not end with a V. Because otherwise it would end with a V. So it's its third job. So on this side, we're writing how we spell it. Have. Now we're going to circle the part that's different. And in this situation, it's the silent final E, because it's not doing its regular old English job. It's doing a new job, a different job, the third most common job. It's making sure our word doesn't end with a V, so this is the way we pronounce it. Have. 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 Say it with me. Have. 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 Very good. Nice. Now we have all of our cards together, and we have was. And we remember this part is not, it's a think to spell word. So this part is not spelled the way we hear it and that it sounds. We're going to turn it over. Was. Good practice together. Was. Let's go to our next word. Of. Both of them sound different than what you would expect them to sound going by the rules of English. So we've circled the whole thing. Remember, that's our thinking sound. Of. That's how we pronounce it. Of. And then we have. This is different. We have to remember. That's why we circled it. This is how we pronounce it. Have. Thank you very much.